If I gave you 1 cent, do you think in one day you'd be able to turn it into 2? And in 2 days, do you think you'd be able to turn it into 4? And in 4 days, into 8? And how many of you believe that in just 31 days you could double it every day? Well, guess what? If you could do that, which I'm sure some of you can, you would have $10.7 million. Incredible, but true. Anyway, I'm going to tell you a story. It's about my life as an entrepreneur. At school, I couldn't spell, read, or write. My English teacher decided, therefore, that every evening I should stay behind and spell necessary, successful, and all of these words hundreds of times. Came to no avail. At the age of 13, they discovered I was dyslexic. But that didn't change my life, as I still couldn't read, write, or spell. By the age of 16, I left school. I obviously wasn't the ideal candidate, with very little. My parents, gosh, who knows why, decided, because I couldn't spell, read, or write, that maybe the best thing to do was send me to university in France to learn French. What a great idea. So now I'm at university in France. I'm sat in the class, and guess what? All the students are English. The only person who spoke French was the teacher, and I honestly couldn't understand the words she said. So I thought to myself, well, I need to do something special. I'll tell you what, I'm going to go and get a job at a store somewhere, and I'm going to learn French. I want to be with French people. So I went to the south of France, and I got a job at a shop that my father used to shop at, called Pierre Cardin. So they obviously gave me a low wage because I couldn't speak French, and they gave me this job as a sales assistant. Great, I thought. Anyway, it just so happened, guess what? All the customers who came in the store were English. Anyway, I went back to the management. I said, listen, I came here. I'm working in this job. You gave me this job and paid me very little because I don't speak any French. But I'm the only sales assistant in this store that speaks English. So if you don't double my pay, I'm leaving. I'm out of here. They doubled my pay. Anyway, my father said to me, listen, son, it's time you came back to England and worked for the family company. The family company was Sexy Rexy. It was a fashion store in the UK. It was very popular in its day. I went to work for Sexy Rexy for a few years, and jeans were the fashion at the time, so I decided I'm going to open a jeans company, and I opened this company called Jeanery, my first venture into business. Anyway, we kept opening stores, and finally I had 10 stores. I decided to take our best store because for some reason, I don't know, the jeans market was not going as well. So I thought I'd take this store, double it in size, and then we'd take twice as much money. I mean, it was our best store. It never happened. I doubled the size of the store. We actually took no money. And in fact, the company ran out of cash. We had to call in the liquidators, and the company went bankrupt. I lost the family business that had been around for over 20 years, the trust of my father and brother, even lost my home. But guess what? From failure comes success. So I decided I'm going to open a new company. The only trouble was I had no money. So what did I do? I took this temporary store. I got these old shop fittings. I think the most expensive thing I bought, which was $100, was the alarm system. And I started again. I called up my suppliers. I said to them, listen, if you've got any really bad stock that you just can't sell, send it to me. Within a week, the store was full. So the only thing is, I said, you can have 70% of whatever I sell it for. I want 30%, but I'm going to decide on the selling price. Anyway, without much ado, I decided the best name for the company was, of course, Bankrupt. So I opened this store called Bankrupt. The customers all thought it was an amazing deal. They thought the shop was shutting down. And the store became really, really busy. So anyway, because I love jeans, and I do love jeans, I'm even wearing them tonight, I thought, right, I'm going to go out and I'm going to start buying jeans again. So I went out, started buying jeans. The store got busier and busier. So I moved to a permanent location. This was our first permanent location. We then moved on to Bankrupt Clothing Company later on. And we filled the store full of jeans, became more and more successful. And within a few years, this one store was taking $2.5 million. So guess what? Decided, carry on opening stores. Anyway, it finally got to a national jeans chain, one of the best in the country. But yet again, the jeans market started to turn down. Even my young son of 9 years old didn't want to wear jeans anymore. So I thought, oh my gosh. So I went to the management team. I flew them all the way over to America. I showed them this store, Old Navy. At that point in time in New York, Old Navy was absolutely packed out. They did all this own label stuff. I said, look, this is what I want to do in England. So we flew back. I sat down with the management team. They said to me, Paul, we don't want to go and sell that sort of stuff. We want to take the company up market. So I'm thinking to myself, I don't know anything about up market. So I said to them, well, what we should do is you buy the company. I said, you've got a few hours to think about it. So I came back a few hours later. They said, right, we're going to buy the company. So I sold them the company, and they were euphoric after I'd sold it. And we went for a drink in the bar, or the pub. That's what you do in England. And they were so happy, and their accountant came up to me and said, Paul, it's just what I wanted to hear. You know, we absolutely stole the company off you. Wow, I said, that's just what I want to hear. I feel like I've just given away my first child, and now you're telling me you stole my first company. But anyway, this time, I walked away with $6 million. I thought to myself, right, okay, well, what am I going to do with it? And I invested it in real estate. I bought everything, houses, apartments, castles, hotels, you name it. Anyway, one day, my wife says to me, or ex-wife, actually, she says, Paul, can you go and get me a barbecue? Well, it was a Sunday. Where'd you get a barbecue on a Sunday? In England at that time, you know, hardly any stores were open on Sundays. She said, go to this shop, CCC. So it stood for the Caravanning Camping Centre. So I went down to this store. And in this store, I walked in. It was like this Aladdin's cave. It was full of all this stuff for caravans, for camping, for trailers. And I walked through into the outdoor department. Everything for hiking, these boots, boots and shoes, all this clothing, and all the stuff for climbing. And I walked upstairs, and upstairs I found a sea of tents. I was in love with this store. So I thought to myself, I better go and buy the barbecue. So I went downstairs, got the barbecue, walked out of the store and thought, you know, I think I could turn this store into a national chain of outdoor stores. So my accountants actually rang me up out of the blue, it's God's honest truth, out of the blue, and said to me, Paul, this company, CCC, is for sale. Do you want to buy it? Wow. Okay, so I ring up the people who helped me sell bankrupt clothing company. I say, listen, I want to buy this company, CCC, it's on the market. They said, I'm sorry, Paul, we can't deal with you. We're already dealing with someone. Well, it was John Graham. He was the store manager. He'd been trying to buy the store for over 2 years, and he needed someone in retail with some retail experience. And guess what? That was me. So anyway, John and I needed to raise $1.8 million to buy the company. He was very enthusiastic, and with his enthusiasm and my knowledge, we soon got the backing of a bank and a venture capital company. Now listen to this deal, phenomenal deal. I put in $100,000. John put in $25,000, but borrowed the $25,000 from the same bank. And the bank and the venture capital company put in the rest of the money. But the best part of it is we owned 80%. John had 20%. I had 60%. The venture capital company owned the other 20%. Yeah, this was the best deal I'd ever done in my life. Anyway, John was the CEO, I'm the chairman. And John thinks I don't know anything about the outdoor business, which is absolutely true, and he thinks he knows everything about it. But in reality, he didn't know anything about business, he just knew about the outdoor products. So anyway, he would not listen to me. So I thought, well, I'm just going to leave him alone. He needs to learn from his experience. Anyway, within 6 months, we ran out of money. The banks were going to call in the debt. Yet again, I find myself facing bankruptcy. But this time, I knew what to do. So John came to me, broken-hearted he was, because he knew we were about to lose the company. He said, Paul, can you help me? I knew at this point a great partnership was formed. We quickly reduced all of the stock, paid back the bank debt, reduced all of our costs, reduced the amount of staff we had, and the company returned to profitability. Anyway, within the next few years, we took CCC, and it went from about $2 million in turnover, and we over tripled the sales to nearly $7 million. Thought, well, that's pretty good. We've got a success on our hands. Come on, let's buy another company. So we bought another company. And guess what? We did exactly the same thing again. Anyway, we carried on for the next 17 years. And after 17 years, we ended up with nearly 60 stores. We'd gone from just $2 million turnover to over $250 million and employed over 2,500 people. Not bad. But that time, I'd always wanted to come and live in America. live with my beautiful family over here. So I decided we've got to sell the company. So we put the company up for sale. And we sold it for over $200 million. Anyway, since then, the store has gone on. It's now got about 100 stores, 3,500 people work in it, and over $500 million in sales. So I just want to say, you know, and we changed the name, by the way, I forgot, we changed the name to Go Outdoors, and this is their latest store. So it looks pretty impressive. This store is about 125,000 square foot. So it's the biggest outdoor store now in the whole of Europe. So I just want to say to you all tonight, if you have $1, I think I've got $1. If I don't have $1, someone's going to have to give me one. Anyway, if you have $1, you take 31 years and you double it every day for 31 years, guess what? You all become billionaires. It's absolutely true. So thank you very much. And I just want to leave you tonight with this statement. I didn't write this, actually, by the way. Franklin D. Roosevelt wrote it. I thought he was better at writing stuff than me. So as I reflect on my journey, a quote that always lifts me is, "The only limit to our realization of tomorrow is our doubts of today." Embrace your potential, believe in yourself, and take that first bold step, and wonderful things await you.